Beginning of the 90s, owners and breeders are facing the challenge of the very real prospect of new markets opening up in Dubai, Macau and other racing countries in Southeast Asia. These two major factors have fueled the demand for top-class bloodlines, and Racing World visited India to meet some of the owners of both the established and younger generation of stud farms, all of whom have been improving the quality of their bloodstock dramatically. One of the most colourful personalities on the Indian turf is the Maharaj Kumar of Ida, an established and successful breeder who has long recognised the importance of pedigrees. He's been a prolific buyer of the best families at the sales in Newmarket and Canada for the last 15 years for his Pratap stud.
Well, we've been observing that throughout the world, it's the same top-class families that produce the majority of top-class results. And so we like to go into proven families. Mainly the female families, which have to be from very strong taproots like Mumtaz Mahal or La Troyenne or Schiaparelli, and some inbreeding if I can get that in.
But how have the Indian breds fared against the importation of these foreign horses?
Well, there are some Indian lines that are holding on today. Whether they will be able to do so in future, I cannot forecast. But most of the foreign animals are definitely superior, though there are a few Indian lines that are still holding out.
How important does he think the environment is as a factor?
I don't give too much importance to environment because good horses have been produced in every sort of climate throughout the world. I mean, our climate is no different to that of Mexico or Australia, some parts of Australia or even southern Florida, and good horses have been produced there. So I don't think that the environment is a very limiting factor.
One of the main breeding areas to have emerged in India is Pune, situated approximately 150 miles southeast of Bombay. It's the base of the country's most successful breeders, Cyrus and Zaveri Poonawalla, whose Poonawalla group of farms are the largest single-owned breeding operation in India. With approximately 100 mares producing an average of 65 yearlings, 75% of which are sold privately to buyers at the stud. They too place great importance on bloodlines.
We've imported quite a few interesting pedigrees to add to our existing band of 30 or 40 imported foundation stock mares that we have. For instance, we have a mare that has come in foal to Sharif Dancer by Darshan, whose dam is a half-sister to Sherga. Then we've got a mare that is come in foal to the dual Guineas winner Tyrol by Nureyev. We've got another Nureyev mare who's also come from a very fashionable French family. Then we've got a mare that came last year in foal to Thatching, whose dam is a half-sister to the famed Leafyard.
The fortunes of a stud farm in India rise and fall on the relative merits of their stallions, and the phenomenal success of the Poonawalla brothers has been built on the achievements of two horses.
The oldest resident is a E.P. Taylor bred Nearctic horse, Malvado. He's with us since more than 10 years, and his progeny, particularly his colts, have won everything in the country, and he stands as a leading sire mainly of colts. Alongside him, we have got a Aga Khan bred Red God horse called Riahi. He is known in the country to be the leading sire for fillies, and he stands as a joint leading horse alongside Malvado.
The two main studs, each of about 150 acres, have a dedicated manager and vet. The veterinary facilities include an incubator and in-house pathology unit, together with a unique IBM cell separator, which can be used for all kinds of blood transfusion. Another asset that's proved invaluable in the brothers' quest to produce a better racehorse is an 800 meters training track.
This racetrack is for free running of the weanlings to yearling stage. The unique part about the racetrack is that it's built out of a polyvinyl rail. So in the event of a yearling running into the rail or running through it, it's not going to even scratch him. And this gives us great confidence to run the horses and builds them up a lot for the eventual goal of producing a good racehorse.
This attention to detail has led to outstanding results on the racetrack.
we've been very fortunate to have a tremendous strike rate in the last 3 or 4 years, in as much that out of 1 of every 4 horses that we sell have won or placed in a classic. And that's brought up our classic winning total to 122, with 5 consecutive Indian derbies to date.
Until the Poonawallahs superseded it, Pune Stud, located on the outskirts of Delhi, was India's leading classic nursery. Started in the mid-70s by Major PK Mehra when he was still serving in the 61st Cavalry, Pune Stud had a spectacularly meteoric rise thanks to the phenomenal success of his well-bred son of Fortino II, Grey Gaston.
He has a wonderful record, and I only wish that I had him now, because from a very small crop of annual yearlings, he produced 5 individual derby winners and a whole host of other very good horses. They ran over all distances, they were tough, they were sound, and I think I owe this farm to him.
Since Grey Gaston's death in 1984, Pune Stud has been the home of the Clairon horse Common Land, a half-brother to He Loves Me, now nearly 20 years old, and Treasure Leaf, a son of Leafard from the same family as Glint of Gold and Diamond Shoal. This year, PK Mehra has added a 3rd stallion to his team, the Northern Dancer horse Razine, favourite in Quest for Fame's Derby when trained by Henry Cecil. Having enjoyed considerable success with his stud, producing over 100 classic winners, what does he look for in a potential stallion?
Basically, I have a norm where I look for 4 main things. First is conformation, because without a good, well-conformed stallion, I think you're going to pass on faults to your progeny, and that's no good. Then I look for a race record, because he has to have some race record, and of course the pedigree. Now, there's one other aspect to this which I've added recently, and that's attitude. I think that's important as well. So basically I'm looking at, on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm looking for at least a 5 in all departments, and then anything over that is bonus wherever I can get it.
400 kilometres north of Usha, in the fertile plains of the Punjab, is Sunny and Karen Bra's Dashmesh Stud. Like Usha, Dashmesh was founded in the mid-70s and has the advantage of also being an agricultural farm with one of the largest acreages of any stud in India. A well-known face at Tattersalls December sales, what changes has Sunny Bra seen in the quality of horses being imported?
Previously, the stallions at Stud would have had time from ratings of about 90 to 95. Today we have group winners, group placed horses, and today we have stallions who I would say are capable of standing in the lower range in England, which was not possible, which was not there 10 to 15 years ago. And that same marked improvement is in the mares also. We have very good mares, we have half-sisters to Group 1 winners, we have half-sister to Group winners, which again has only come about in the last 5 to 10 years.
To prove the point, Dashmesh has just acquired the Saraiva horse Sir Bordeaux. He's from the family of Razor Native and is seen here winning the Grade 2 Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. Sir Bordeaux will join the existing team at Dashmesh. The eldest is TV Sunday. By TV Lark out of a full sister to turn 2, he's the sire of Dashmesh's only Indian Derby winner to date. Currently, the most successful stallion at Dashmesh is Ilias. A son of Northern Dancer out of the Epsom Oaks winner Homeward Bound, he has an outstanding pedigree and has already sired 13 classic winners. The sire of one of the highest stakes earners in the country is the Riverman horse Ballo, and one of the most recent recruits is Wattlefield, a son of Red God, who's made a promising start with his first crop of 3-year-olds and is sure to contribute to Dashmesh's impressive classic tally of over 70 races in the future. The success of these established studs has inspired a new generation of breeders whose commitment to the improvement of the breed is no less passionate. At a time when royalty were leaving the sport of kings, Maharaja Amrinder Singh of Patiala, scion of one of India's largest and most prestigious states, has entered the sport. Together with his partner Brijendra Singh, they formed AB Stud and have quickly built up a high-quality band of broodmares which they plan to expand.
Well, we are intending to keep building on it. We've now reached, we'll be having 37 mares this year, and hopefully take them up to whatever we can manage here. Maybe 50, more than 50 mares at this station.
Following the loss of their previous stallion, the Stowell Hill-bred General Anders, the stud acquired the former Andre Fabre-trained and Sheikh Mohammed-owned French suitor.
We thought Blushing Bloom had the speed and would suit the Indian conditions ideally. We did not go in for Northern Dancer line because there are too many stallions by Northern Dancer or that line present in India. And we bought French suitor before Nashwan came on the scene, or Alizé for that matter.
Encouraged by the success of their first crop of yearlings, a new stud closer to Delhi was developed specifically for the young stock. With a dedicated staff to help him, the stud is looked after by Brijendra Singh's brother Choti, and a great deal of thought went into its design.
Brijendra and I discussed it. I visited a lot of stud farms in Ireland to get ideas, and we decided on this because each paddock is accessible directly from the stable. So we have 4 entrances, each of them lead to a paddock separately. We took into account the long summers we have here. That's why we came up with a new concept. We have the pakka brick wall inside, and we have a 4-inch air gap in between. And then we have a unbaked brick outside, which is a bad conductor of heat. So it's cool in the summer and warm in the winter.
Having already produced this year's classic place Gentle Spy from their initial crops, and with impressive yearlings by Primo Domini and French Suitor coming on stream, the stud can safely be rated one of the farms of the future. Another young stud that has high hopes of their stallion is Sunny Sibia's Mare Haven stud, which stands Mariensky. Owned by the Queen, this son of Nureyev was highly thought of by Dick Hearn.
I wanted to go for one of the faster, the more brilliant sons of Nureyev, and that was the reason why I went for the selection of Mariensky. And the other reason has been his dam side, Highclere, who was a dual classic winner in England and France over the right distance, and who has also gone on to produce the dam of Nashwa, Anfuvain, Alwasmi, all good stallion prospects in the next year or two, who hopefully we should be hearing a lot about.
Based in Haryana, about 3 hours from Delhi, the stud is rated one of the most progressive establishments in Indian breeding. The recent addition of a training track allows the weanlings and yearlings additional exercise before being turned out into their paddocks. Also standing at Mare Haven is the Ridan horse Bonol, who's been a model of consistency with one of the highest strike rates in the country. But Sunny Sibia will be watching the progress of Nashwan with particular interest, hoping that his close relation Mariensky will put Mare Haven's name well and truly on the map. Amarjit Singh, who gained invaluable experience at Winfield's farm in the early 80s and took over the running of his family stud, started in 1978, is another young breeder with a burning ambition to take his Amarjit group of stud farms to the top. He alone was responsible for no less than 25% of the total number of mares imported into India in 1991. He also imported in 1991 the highest stakes earner to stand in India, Forest Fair, who will join Nijinsky's son Sarinsky at their stallion station located in the Punjab. Forest Fair by Naskra won over $400,000, including the Grade 3 Hill Prince Handicap in New York. With a band of nearly 100 broodmares by some of the world's leading broodmare sires and an average crop of 50 yearlings for sale, a separate yearling station situated close to the centre of New Delhi was developed. This 50-acre facility greatly enhances the control over the rearing and marketing of the yearlings, and in 1992 resulted in their entire crop being sold privately off the farm. Another young breeder responsible for importing an increasing number of high-quality bloodstock is Shapur Mistry, the owner of Mandri Stud at Pune, one of the oldest and perhaps most beautiful stud farms in the subcontinent. The stud has a heritage tracing back to the present Aga Khan's grandfather, and over the last 5 years the property has undergone a complete renovation with the building of new stables and veterinary facilities together with the relaying of the paddocks. The Broodmare Band has been built up to number 75 and is set to compete with the very best. The mares include such celebrities as Nurayev's half-sister Weald, seen here with her 1992 foal by Classic Tale, the smart Sir Gaylord race mare Moorman with a colt by Trojan Fen, and Shindella with a filly by Farley. Supporting the Broodmare Band at Manjri are two well-performed stallions. The Queen Anne Stakes winner Trojan Fen, whose first Indian crop comes up for sale next year, and the former Sheikh Mohammed owned Classic Tale, a group-winning son of Blushing Groom from the family of Mystico and Mark of Distinction, a family found in many of the leading studs of the world today. But not only are breeders concentrating on improving bloodlines, they're also increasing the opportunities of testing them on the racecourse. The Pune Wallahs have pioneered the million concept in India, and since its inception in 1990, it's developed into the richest race for juvenile 3-year-olds in the country. Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla, co-sponsor of the race and chairman of the Royal West Indian Turf Club, explains the thinking behind the Poonawallah's Breeders' Million.
The purpose of this race was to boost Indian racing by giving it a bit of color and also give a big race like the Cartier Million race held in UK for juvenile 3-year-olds. This sort of becomes the juvenile 3-year-old derby.
Overseas jockeys including Lester Piggott, Mick Kinane, Paul Edery, Kieran Fallon and Tony Cruz had flown into Bombay to take part, but on this occasion they had to play a supporting role as India's Aslam Kader prevailed. The race proved a triumph for one of the established breeders, Major Pradeep Mehra, winning one of the few important races that had so far eluded him with his son of Treasure Leaf. 1,000 miles away at his Usha stud near Delhi, Pradeep Mehra has Flying Braves dam Kolar Gold with a weanling half-brother as well as a yearling full sister to continue the family tradition. Presenting the trophy at Mahalaxmi Racecourse was Major General Sir Guy Watkins, Chief Executive of the Royal Hong Kong Jockey Club. What prospect does he think there is for the best of the Indian breds competing in Hong Kong?
I'm hoping that sometime this year we'll be able to get a couple of Indian breds into Hong Kong through America. They've got a stage in America for 6 months, so it's a very good owner who wants to bring it all the way up there. But I'm hoping we'll see them for the first time. The Indians are very, very keen just to see how good their horses really are.
Today in India, considerable resources and energies are being employed to ensure that Indian racing and breeding takes its place in the international arena, and this current optimism in the sport is summed up by the Maharaj Kumar of Ida.
I think it's an absolute sunshine industry in this part of the world. I mean, there may be a recession in breeding in England or America, but over here, I mean, it's very easy to sell a good horse.